Hi everyone, there are times when my job is just too easy. One of the things that I'd like to point out on a regular basis on this channel, you've probably noticed if you're a subscriber, is hypocrisy both in the media and with our politicians around the world. And Jeremy Hunt came up with one of the most beautifully hypocritical things I've ever heard anybody say. But before I get to that, let me just point out another hypocrite. Donald Trump. President Trump, one of the biggest hypocrites in the world. Although Jeremy Hunt is going to give him a run for his money in a few seconds, I'll show you. He says, President Bashar al-Assad of Syria must not recklessly attack Idlib province. Idlib province is being in Syria, which is under the control of terrorists right now. And Assad, and with the support of Russia, are going to go in there and wipe them out by the look of it, as they did in Daraa a couple of weeks ago. Trump goes on to say here, the Russians and Iranians would be making a grave humanitarian mistake to take part in this potential human tragedy. Hundreds of thousands of people could be killed. Don't let that happen. Pity he hasn't got the same sentiments about the world's worst humanitarian crisis on the planet at the moment, which he is heavily involved in with the UK, using Saudi Arabia as a proxy in the war in Yemen. Killing countless civilians, 8 million people in starvation there right now, another 22 million probably, the entire population probably by the end of the year. Largest cholera outbreak in history. Over 1 million people last year alone contracted it. 60% of those are children. You know, bombing weddings and funerals in double taps. Squares, civilian targets, just killing children. Obviously, you remember the 40 children killed on the bus. Hasn't got the same humanitarian worries, though, about Yemen. Strange that, isn't it? Hypocrite. Absolutely hypocrite. Yemen, it's difficult to say actually how many people have been killed in Yemen, by the way. Ben Norton from the Real News Network, excellent channel, an excellent reporter. He says this, according to the UN, the total number of Yemeni civilians killed by the US-Saudi coalition is decreasing over time. In January 2017, UN said 10,000 civilians had been killed. 19 months later, now only 6,600 have been killed. These grossly understated numbers are so bogus, exactly. So, what they're basically trying to say there, the UN, is, the coalition is so good at averting humanitarian crises, they're actually bringing 3,400 people back to life. Unbelievable, it really is. So there's, examples of hypocrisy. And this is Nikki Haley. She retweeted Donald Trump, by the way. Just on a side note, she says, all eyes on the actions of Assad, Russia and Iran in Idlib. Hashtag no chemical weapons. She might as well have just picked up the phone, called the top terrorist in Idlib, the top guy, and just said, listen, if you do a chemical weapons attack on the civilians, don't worry, we've got you back. We'll blame Iran and Russia. She might as well have just done that. It's unreal. Jeremy Hunt, though, he is the biggest hypocrite of them all, in my opinion. This is just how he can't see the hypocrisy in this tweet is beyond me. He says imprisoning journalists who write about inconvenient truths is an unconscionable blow to press freedom, and indeed everybody's freedom. We'll be raising the extremely serious case of 2 Reuters journalists on my forthcoming visit to Burma. WikiLeaks obviously replied to that with what everybody was thinking. Indeed it is. However, Burma will treat you with scorn as other countries have, citing the UK's detention of our editor without charge in violation of 2 UN rulings on the issue for 8 years after he exposed US pilots slaying, ironically, 2 Reuters journalists. The hypocrisy knows no bounds. I had a similar sentiment. I said 3 words that prove your words are absolute bullshit. Julian fucking Assange. If you really cared about press freedom, Julian Assange wouldn't be arbitrarily detained in my country's capital right now. Spare us your fake empathy. We can see straight through it. And then Sinead Lunny there responded to that with a really good point. She said, and 2 Irish journalists arrested last week for exposing British state collusion in murder. Will he take that up too? This is from The Guardian. She's talking about the Loughlin Islands killings, journalists arrested over alleged document theft. These documents, as it says here, They show officers from Durham Constabulary detained Trevor Burney and Barry McCafferty in Belfast on Friday over the use of material allegedly stolen from the police ombudsman. That sounds serious, doesn't it? Gibney said the arrests were outrageous and that police should be, instead of reopening the investigation into the 1994 massacre in which a loyalist murdered 6 Catholics. In a tweet, he said the film has exposed the failure of the police to properly investigate the massacre. Quote, police reaction, reopen murder investigation. No. Arrest the truth tellers. Unbelievable. Arrest the truth tellers instead of reopening the murder investigation. The documentary released last year cited evidence of blunders, cover-up and collusion between police and the Ulster Volunteer Force killers. We are living in 1984. It's one rule. Everybody's equal, but some people are more equal than others. Jeremy Hunt, you're a hypocrite, and you're fast becoming the person I dislike most in our government. And I dare say the people who are watching this video, a giant majority of them, agree with me. By the way, free Julian Assange. Pardon him. Trump, pardon him. What that money's going through, I can't even imagine. Jeremy Hunt thinks everything's fine and dandy though, so that's okay. Hypocrite. If you like this video and you want to hear more, please click subscribe and click the bell down there as well so you get a notification of when I drop further videos. Otherwise, YouTube will hide it from you. Any future videos, they have admitted that they do that. We are facing an absolute onslaught, a barrage from both the corporate media and corporations who are trying to silence our voices. They're trying to stop us from bringing you the truth and cutting through the partisan BS that you get in the mainstream media. They don't like it. We're their competition. So if you can support channels like mine, please do so. Please share the videos wherever you can. Talk to your friends and family and spread the word about what we're doing. If you can support us on Patreon, please do so as well. The link is down there. You can support me for as little as $1 a month, and every bit helps. We cannot do this without your support. Thanks very much for your support. Until next time, peace and take care.